Gene Hackman was found living alone in his home for a week with the body of his wife nearby. But that's not the end of the story. Betsy Arakawa was marked as gone on February 11th. She did make a call on February 12th, though, a bug or the truth that's been buried. The 90-day section in the will that sealed the deal, a chance rule of the law, or a clever plan. Any of what I say is not true. But if someone wanted to change Gene Hackman's reputation, they had the perfect chance to do so. Chapter 1, The Silent Farewell, which is about the lonely end of a famous actor's life. In the peaceful area of Santa Fe, where the mountains light up with the colors of each sunset, there is a large house in a private neighborhood. People don't see any signs of it, and its neighbors don't call. Most importantly, no one knows what goes on behind its wall. It was the home of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa for many years. Hackman used to be a beautiful movie star, but he decided to live a quiet life, away from the fame and attention of the entertainment industry. He stopped making movies after his last one in 2004, and he stayed away from all kinds of events. Sneaky pictures of him were taken as he was leaving a grocery store or stopped at a nearby diner. Age quickly took its toll. His hair turned white as snow, and he walked much more slowly. The Hackman Arakawa home, which was worth $3.5 million, was big and fancy, but it had a strange, disturbing vibe. It looked like no one came or went. They didn't have a housekeeper, nanny, or any other kind of regular help. Sometimes, delivery people would walk up to the gate and leave goods outside, a neighbor told the New York Times. They have a gate and we have a gate, and we've never even seen each other. That said it all. They were a mysterious, rich couple who were so private that no one knew who they were. The inside wasn't as clean as the outside made it look, even though it held a lot of important art. A source told Mail Online that when the cops finally got inside, they were shocked to see something very different from what they had expected. The source said that they didn't have a housekeeper or maid, so even though there was nice furniture and art, there was dog waste on the floor. The inside of the house was a mess. There was no dust on anything. The fridge had nothing in it. Hackman used to be a huge star in Hollywood, but now he seemed to accept a nearly austere simplicity, and he didn't even seem to care about his own home. Hackman was no longer healthy at age 95. People who had seen him in the last few years said he was a weak, slightly stooped man who didn't have the dominating presence he had when he was on screen. A picture of Hackman riding his bike around Santa Fe a few years ago caused a stir on the internet. That he was still determined to stay busy was clear on his face. Betsy's doctor told her that she had tried to get him a heart checkup, which raised some worrying health concerns. But this was what people didn't understand. If Hackman's strength had dulled so much, what was wrong with they not having any help? There is no separate nurse or caretaker. Did they not trust anyone, or was there something else going on? Hackman was a famous figure, but Betsy Arakawa was hard to find. In the past, she was a classical pianist and had her own job before she quit to be with Hackman. Betsy never tried to get the media's attention, so not much is known about her. He married her second time. After his split from Faye Maltese in 1991, he got married. Even though they had been together for over 30 years, they never had children, and Betsy never talked about her personal life. People say she was the only person Hackman really trusted, the loyal friend who went with him when he left Hollywood for a quiet life in Santa Fe. That unwavering trust may have set the stage for the questions that came after. A rich couple who didn't have any staff or neighbors to talk to, and a house where no one knew what was going on. It makes you wonder if Hackman and Betsy chose to be alone or if they were forced to be alone. Some people think they might have been led from afar. A source said Hackman didn't leave any signs that he talked to anyone other than his wife on a daily basis. Christopher, Leslie, and Elizabeth, his children, were basically cut off from his life, at least financially. He was left alone in that house after Betsy died first. No one knew what he did, what he thought, or what really happened for a week. He didn't want to talk. A neighbor said that he didn't want to be bugged. That summed it up. He wanted peace so that he could spend his last days however he wanted. But did he really choose peace, or was it pushed on him? Santa Fe, which was once Hackman's safe haven, now stands as a haunting background to the mysteries surrounding his death. There is more and more mystery as strange things happen, like Betsy calling after everyone thought she was gone. Was this just the quiet life of an older couple, or was there a secret plot just waiting to come out? Most importantly, who stood to gain from it all? Part 2, Are They Dead or Alive? The strange phone call that shook Santa Fe. Betsy Arakawa died on February 11, and the Santa Fe cops reported it. The woman who had been with Gene Hackman for more than 30 years. But the next day, Betsy called and threw everything that was thought to be true into complete chaos. From where did she call? More importantly, had she really left on February 11 as the official story said? The child of Cloudberry Health, Dr. Josiah, couldn't believe what he was hearing. The office got a call from Betsy in the morning of February 12th. Mrs. Hackman didn't die on February 11th because she called my clinic on February 12th, he said. This was no jest, no clerical error. The doctor insisted Betsy had phoned, confirmed an appointment, and even spoken to another physician on staff. She called back on the morning of February 12th and spoke to one of our doctors, who told her to come in that afternoon. What did this mean? If the police report held true, Betsy was gone by February 11th. But if Dr. Child was right, who made that call the next day? Theory 1? A glitch in the system, or the doctor's memory? Yet, for a patient like Betsy, with no history of mix-ups, this seemed highly unlikely. Theory 2? Someone impersonated her. But why? What motive would drive such a deception? Theory 3? Betsy was alive on February 12th and the police report was gravely mistaken or deliberately altered. A peculiar detail stood out. Betsy's call betrayed no panic, no hint of distress. It was simply to confirm her visit. But the chilling part? She never showed up that afternoon. If she called, why didn't she arrive? If something happened on February 11th, how could her voice reach out the next day? Had someone rewritten the truth? Voice analysts suggest that if someone mimicked Betsy, they'd need intimate knowledge of her speech, tone, and mannerisms. But that's no small feat. Betsy was famously reserved. Only someone close could pull it off. So the pressing question, why? Was Betsy already gone, or was this part of a larger cover-up? Unofficial investigators proposed a chilling possibility. Betsy might have been held back for a time after her actual departure. If someone delayed news of her passing, what was their aim? Could it tie to money? Betsy might have uncovered something and become a target in a sinister scheme. Was her call to the clinic not about her health, but something else? Did she know a secret about Hackman, his wealth, or his family? The police received false data, or someone tampered with the records. If the initial report of her departure was wrong, who changed it? Was someone inside the police, hospital, or even Hackman's circle involved? When police entered Hackman's home on February 17th, they found a chaotic scene, far from the luxury one might expect. But even stranger was what came before. Why didn't Hackman reach out after Betsy's departure? Why did it take a week for anyone to check the house? Why were Hackman's children entirely absent during this critical time? A source close to the family revealed there was nothing in the fridge. A simple statement, but loaded with meaning. It suggested neither Hackman nor Betsy had lived normally for some time. So when did things truly unravel? Was it really February 11th or days earlier? One call, just one call, shattered the initial assumptions about Betsy's exit. Was it a bizarre fluke or the key to a far darker plot? The answer rested with Betsy, but if she was gone, who spoke in her place? Did Gene Hackman know the truth behind this? Or was he, too, ensnared in a nightmare far worse than imagined? The tale is far from over. Chapter 3. 1 week with the dead. Gene's unthinkable last days. A man of 95, once a Hollywood titan with 2 Oscars to his name, was found alone in a multi-million-dollar mansion in Santa Fe, a place that should have epitomized luxury and peace. But Gene Hackman's solitude wasn't the most haunting part. The truly chilling revelation: he may have lived alongside his wife's remains for an entire week. How could this happen? More pressing still, did Gene Hackman truly succumb to heart disease, or was there another cause, while he stayed with Betsy's body? The $3,500,000 home of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa, tucked within Santa Fe's gated elite, once stood as a retreat from Hollywood's bustle. But when police entered on February 17th, they didn't find opulence. They uncovered a scene of startling disorder. No housekeeper, no one tending the property, cluttered, unkept, everything coated in thick dust. The floors bore unidentifiable stains, including animal waste. The fridge, completely bare. There was nothing in the fridge. How did a near-centenarian survive in such conditions for days after his wife's departure? Was Gene still capable of caring for himself? Did he comprehend what was happening, or had his mind drifted beyond reality? Gene Hackman's final days weren't a serene retreat in a grand home. They were a torment in a world he couldn't escape. After Betsy Arakawa left, Gene remained in that house, 1 day, 2 days, 7 days.